Hey everybody, hope everyone is having a good Sunday and thought I would just check in and make another video. Made one yesterday showing what I picked up on Record Store Day, but actually went back to Doc's Records in Fort Worth again yesterday, the day after Record Store Day. The reason being is that they, in years past on Record Store Day and on Black Friday Record Store Day, they always had made kind of a big deal out of it. They had free food, free beer, free bands playing, and they had 20% off of everything, not the Record Store Day releases or the new releases, but everything else, 20% off. And this year they didn't do that. They did it the day after as far as the food, bands, beer, and 20% off, which I guess makes sense because that sort of, I guess their thinking is that that'll bring people in the day after Record Store Day, because a lot of people just go to the record store that once or twice a year, Record Store Day and Black Friday maybe, and don't go much otherwise. So this way they sort of bring people in. I guess that's what they're thinking. I don't know. But anyway, I got everything I wanted for Record Store Day, really. There's a couple of things that I might pick up down the road if the prices go down or if they're still around, but I just wanted to go because there was one thing in particular that I saw, and I'll show that last, that was kind of excited to see there and I wanted to get. I wanted to take advantage of that 20% off because it was hard to find and a little pricey. But I went with the expectation of just getting the one item, and I ended up getting 4 or 5 albums. You know, might as well take advantage of the 20% off. So, yeah, I saw on, I also mentioned yesterday on the video that there was only I hadn't seen anybody else do their pickups on Record Store Day, and I've since seen one guy off the record. He made a video about what he picked up on Record Store Day, and that's the only one I've seen, which is kind of unusual because usually the day after Record Store Black Friday Record Store Day, you see quite a few videos of people showing what they picked up. And I only seen that one guy, and Joe, Mean Mr. Mayo, has been making this series of videos at a record store over where he lives, near where he lives, and he talked about it a little bit. He got the Michael Jackson, Paul McCartney Say thing, and that's all he got. He was looking for a Joan Jett deal that I saw it on the list, but apparently it ended up not coming out. He didn't get anything else, but off the record made a video of he picked up a handful of full of things, but kind of surprised that no one else has made videos of their acquisitions yet. And in comments to my video from yesterday, I think it was Rob from Boston said, and I've heard other people say this, that the list this year just wasn't a whole lot on there that people were all that crazy about. And so, and Record Store Days in its what, like its 7th year, I guess. It's so maybe it's sort of the thrill is kind of worn off a little bit on it, or maybe it just the list wasn't all that great. I didn't think it was all that great this year either. There were just like I said, a handful of things that interested me, a lot less than usual. But anyway, so maybe that's why, or maybe people just haven't got around to making their videos yet with the holiday weekend and everything. But went back yesterday, 20% off everything. Wanted to get one thing, ended up getting a handful of things. So got this. This is Elvis's second official album from what is 1956 or 7. This is the album. The first album is the one that says Elvis and then Presley and looks like the Clash album London Calling. This is his second album. Good stuff on here. Rip It Up, Love Me, real good. Paralyzed, pretty good song. So kind of a rockabilly, rock and roll, some country on there. Good stuff. I'm not a huge Elvis fan, but I do like his early stuff up until about the time he gets back from the army. Kind of lose interest after that. Uh, Wild Honey by the Beach Boys I picked up, and I'm still wanting to do my reviews. I started off doing a series of each one of the Beach Boys albums, starting with the first album, and I got up through, I think, the first 4. And I was going to buy the next batch. The Analog Productions has remastered about 10 or 12 of the Beach Boys albums, but they're releasing them in groups of, I think, 4. So they released the first 4, and that was almost a year ago. And I kept waiting for them to release the next batch, and they finally did. And I ordered those last week, and I took off work Thursday and Friday, so I think those should probably be there when I get back on Monday, and I'll pick those up again. I'm not up to this one yet because this is from 1968, I believe. Uh, so I'll be getting to this one. I've got plenty of them to do in between this one and where I am now. But I saw this. This isn't one of them that's being remastered, so I just went ahead and picked it up. I've never heard this album except I know Darling, and I think that's the only song on here that I'm familiar with. I might have heard Wild Honey, the title track. But I remember my brother had a copy of this album when I was a little kid. I always thought the cover was cool. And I sort of liberated it from his collection when I was a kid. But somewhere along the line, he had lost the actual record. So it was just the jacket, the cover that I've still got. Just no record in it. So it's nice to finally have it with the record. I thought that was kind of a cool record cover when I was a kid, and a cousin of mine around the corner actually painted this on a canvas when I was little too. Thought it was kind of cool. But anyway, review of that'll be upcoming sometime in the future. Another Elvis pickup is called A Date with Elvis, which this has got a lot of the Sun 45s on it and some other stuff too. So I think this is from the late 50s. I don't, this is an original copy. It's probably a repress, I'm sure. But anyway, it's good to have that one. I only had one Elvis album before I picked these up today. I had the Christmas album, that was it. And then this is the other one that I got, Elvis is Back. This was the first album that he released after coming home from the Army. And I think this is kind of generally regarded as one of his best albums, I guess. And I've heard this before, and it's really got a lot of good tracks on it. So I haven't played this one yet, but looking forward to playing that. I got a Between the Buttons. This is my favorite Rolling Stones album, and I used to have it on vinyl years ago, but I guess I sold it. So it's good to have it on vinyl again. This is a mono edition on the red label. Cover is a little bit rough. The record inside is good shape though. And this is the American edition. The British edition didn't have America. They tagged on Let's Spend the Night Together and Ruby Tuesday, which was not on the British edition. And the American edition drops a couple of songs that were on the British. I forget which is on which. But anyway, both versions really good. So anyway, my favorite album of the Stones, and their peak in my opinion. But anyway, good to have that on vinyl. And this one I actually got a couple of weeks ago. I went to Doc's and I got a copy of Mind Games by John Lennon and the George Harrison album from, what was that, 79 I think, 78, 79. Both really good albums. But I also picked up a copy of this, and I got this, like I said, about a week and a half ago. I always liked the Squeeze's Tempted, Black Coffee in Bed, Pulling Muscles from a Shell. Only thing I ever had of them is called Singles 45 and Under. It's kind of a greatest hits package that came out around the time they broke up. The first time was 1982, so it came out in 82. And I kind of figured them for one of those bands that if you had a greatest hits album, you know, that was pretty much all you needed. But I remember this album when it came out. I remember seeing it in the record stores and all, and kind of thinking about buying it way back in the 80s and just never did. So finally took a chance on it. Glad I did, because it's got the hit Tempted, and Is That Love is another one that was kind of a hit, not so much in America but over in England. But really catchy, hook-filled, catchy, melodic pop rock, new wave, kind of Beatley sounding in a lot of places, and not a bad song on this album. This is really a great album, and one of the best albums of the 80s, really. So it's a shame that I just now picked it up and found it, but really good album, really worth picking up. Go to YouTube and listen to some of the songs on it. I played this, had it a week and a half, like I said, I think somewhere like that, and I played it several times already. Great album, worth picking up. But the item that I wanted, that I saw when I was in there, actually, yeah, I guess it was about a week and a half ago. When I was in there, I saw something and I thought, ooh, I want that, even though it's a little pricey. But that's why I wanted to wait for the 20% off day, and I was afraid it wouldn't be there. And when I went in on record store day, the day before yesterday, it wasn't there because it was one of the things they put up on the wall. They're kind of more rare records, or they're more expensive records. It wasn't there, and I thought, oh man, it's sold. But I asked the guy if it was still there, and he says, oh yeah, we're just moving stuff around. So I said, well, can you save that for me? I'll be back tomorrow. Anyway, it was there. So, sealed copy, still got the hype sticker. Never been open. This is an American copy, I believe, because it says Capitol Records to Hollywood and Vine. And so, got a gatefold, still sealed. Got it yesterday. I'm debating whether to open it or just leave it sealed. I've never heard this album. It's supposed to be one of his better ones. I sort of, uh, I've said this before, but after Tug of War, I kind of bought a couple of 45s here and there, but gave up on buying McCartney albums otherwise until around the time Chaos and Creation came out, and everyone was saying that was a great album, so I got it. But all of those albums between Tug of War and Chaos, Off the Ground, and this, and Thriving Pain, as Mean Mr. Mayo calls it, and the other one that's going to be re-released is the next archive album. Never can remember the name of it. The one with My Brave Face. Never bought those albums, so I'm not familiar with them other than what was played on the radio. And this, I don't think got much radio play. I've heard, or not around here anyway. I've heard Calico Skies, I think, because I think it was in some crappy Tom Cruise movie. I have no remembrance of what it sounds like. So, but people have said this is the first album he made after the anthology project, the Beatles. So people have said this is supposed to be one of his better albums. Uh, we'll see. I don't know if I'm going to open this or if I'm going to just go on Amazon and buy a. Looked at the CDs, and they've got some used CDs of this for like $1. So I may just get the CD and play it. And because if it's not very good, I may just keep it sealed because it's worth a pretty penny there. But to fill in my Paul McCartney collection, it's good to finally have this, and I think I probably will do that with the CD route just to see if I like this or not, and maybe I'll open it later. We'll see. So that's what I got on the day after Record Store Day, and I hope Beach Boys album should be at work tomorrow, and I can start doing those reviews again. So hope everybody had a good holiday weekend and Sunday, and hope y'all are looking forward to going back to work tomorrow. I know I sure am.